Captain Liam Carter looked out at the stars from the bridge of the Horizon *. The small exploration ship hummed quietly as it moved through the Ta City system. Earth was 3 weeks behind them at faster-than-light speed. The year was 2157, and humans had only recently learned how to travel beyond their solar system. "Captain, I'm picking up an unusual signal," said Amber Rodriguez. She sat at the communications station, her fingers moving quickly over the control panel. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun, her brow furrowed in concentration. Liam walked over to her station. "What kind of signal?" "I've never seen anything like it. It's not random, definitely artificial, but it doesn't match any human patterns." Paul Bennett, the science officer, joined them. He was tall and thin with glasses that he refused to replace with corrective surgery. "The signal is coming from the 4th planet in the system. And there's something else." He pulled up a scan on the main screen. "There's a ship there. A big one." Engineer Kate Murphy looked up from her station. "That can't be right. It would have to be at least 5 times the size of the largest Earth vessel." Security Chief Alan Grant stood up straight, his hand moving instinctively to where his weapon would be if they were allowed to carry them on the bridge. "Should we retreat, Captain?" Liam shook his head. "No. Humanity needs to meet its neighbors sometime. This is why we're out here." He turned to Amber. "Send our standard greeting package." For 20 minutes, the crew waited. Then the ship's computer alerted them to an incoming transmission. The main screen flickered, and they saw aliens for the first time. The beings had gray-blue skin, 4 eyes set in a wide face, and stood at least 7 feet tall. The one in the center wore what looked like armor with complex designs. "Humans," the alien said, the ship's computer translating. "I am Commander Vex of the Valteri Exploration Fleet. Your presence has been noted." Liam stepped forward. "I am Captain Liam Carter of the Earth vessel Horizon *. We come in peace and friendship." The alien made a sound that the computer couldn't translate, but it sounded like laughter. "Peace and friendship. From such frail creatures. Your ship is tiny, your technology primitive. What could you possibly offer the Valteri?" Kate whispered, "Friendly types, aren't they?" Liam kept his face calm. "We offer knowledge exchange and trade. All civilizations have value." "Perhaps as pets or servants," another Valteri said from behind Commander Vex. "Look at them. So soft, so weak." Liam felt his crew tense around him. "We may surprise you," he said evenly. "Humanity has faced many challenges to reach the stars." "Your challenges?" Vex waved a hand dismissively. "We conquered 3 star systems while your kind was still learning to make fire." "Nevertheless," Liam said, "we hope to establish peaceful relations." The Valteri talked among themselves for a moment. Then Vex turned back to the screen. "We will allow your continued existence for now. Your planet has resources that might be useful to us. We will send a delegation to your world in 6 of your months. Be prepared to discuss how you will serve the Valteri in exchange for our protection." Before Liam could respond, the transmission ended. "Well, that went well," Alan said, his voice heavy with sarcasm. "They think we're weak," Paul said quietly. Liam turned to his crew. "Then we have an advantage. They won't see us as a threat." "What do we do, Captain?" Amber asked. "We go home and prepare. We tell Earth what's coming." Liam looked back at the screen, now showing only stars again. "And we make sure that when the Valteri arrive, they find that humans aren't as weak as they think." As the Horizon * turned back toward Earth, Liam sent a private message to Earth Defense Command. "First contact made. Non-friendly. Suggest immediate defensive preparations while maintaining appearance of weakness. They think us primitive. Let them keep thinking that until it's too late." 6 months had passed since the Horizon * returned to Earth with news of the Valteri. In that time, the world had changed. Countries that once fought each other now worked together under the new United Earth Coalition. Everyone knew what was at stake. Admiral Susan Miller stood at the window of the UEC headquarters in Geneva. She watched ships taking off and landing, each one part of Earth's growing defense fleet. The Volteri would arrive any day now. "Admiral, they're here," said a young officer. Susan nodded. She had been preparing for this moment since Liam Carter's first report. "Bring up the view." The main screen showed a massive ship entering Earth orbit. It was at least 20 times larger than anything humans had built. 3 smaller ships followed it. "They're sending a message," the communications officer said. The face of Commander Vex appeared on screen. "Humans of Earth, the time has come for discussions about your place in the Volteri Empire. We invite your leaders to Valorous Prime to see the benefits of Volteri protection. You may send 1 small ship with 5 representatives. Coordinates follow." When the message ended, Susan called for Liam Carter. Liam entered her office an hour later. He now wore the uniform of a commander, having been promoted after his first contact mission. "You've seen the message?" Susan asked. "Yes, Admiral. They want us to see their homeworld, to impress us with their power before they demand our surrender, or to get our leaders away from Earth before they attack." Susan walked to a map on the wall. "Either way, this is an opportunity. We need to know more about them. You want me to go. You and 4 others, including our new diplomatic specialist, Olivia Clark." A woman with short blonde hair stepped into the office. "Commander Carter," she said, holding out her hand. "I've read your reports. Very impressive." Liam shook her hand. "The Volteri won't negotiate fairly. They see us as primitive." "Good," Olivia said with a slight smile. "People reveal more when they think you're no threat." 3 days later, Liam, Olivia, and 3 specialists boarded the Horizon *, now upgraded but still small by Volteri standards. A Volteri ship met them at the edge of the solar system to guide them to Valorous Prime. The journey took 2 weeks. During this time, the Volteri guide, Officer Krell, freely showed his contempt for humans. "Your ship moves so slowly," Krell said one day while visiting the Horizon *, "and your bodies are so fragile. How do you survive?" "We manage," Liam said simply, noting how the alien seemed winded after climbing just 1 ladder between decks. When they finally reached Valorous Prime, the humans were amazed. The planet was larger than Earth, with 3 moons and massive cities visible from space. The Horizon * landed at a spaceport filled with ships from many worlds. As they were led to their quarters, Liam noticed other alien species working as servants. One of them, a small green-skinned being, handed him a welcome package. As their hands touched, Liam felt something pass between them, a small data chip. That night, when they were alone in their quarters, Liam showed the chip to Olivia. It contained a message from something called the Resistance. "Humans, be warned. We are the Solari, the Nyx, and the Telar. Once we were free like you, now we serve the Volteri. They will promise protection but bring slavery. They feared nothing because they have never known defeat. Study them while you are here. Learn their weaknesses. You may be the last hope for all of us." Olivia looked at Liam. "We need to document everything while pretending to be impressed and intimidated." Liam nodded. "The Volteri think we're here to see their greatness. Let's let them think that, while we look for ways to stop them." As they prepared for bed, a message came from their Volteri hosts. "The High Council will see you tomorrow. Rest well, humans." Liam sent a coded message back to Earth. Phase 1 successful. Beginning information gathering. The Volteri have enemies who might become our friends. Back on Earth, scientists worked day and night studying the samples Liam and Olivia had secretly sent home. The lab under the Rocky Mountains buzzed with activity as Dr. Nathan Foster examined a piece of Volteri shield technology. "This is remarkable," Nathan said, adjusting his glasses. He had been working for 72 hours straight, but excitement kept him awake. "Their shields are powerful, but they have a clear pattern." His assistant handed him a cup of coffee. "Pattern," What do you mean? The energy pulses every 3.7 seconds. There's a tiny window where the shield is weakest. Nathan pulled up a simulation on his screen. If we could hit them exactly during that moment. At the same time, engineer Kate Murphy sat in a different lab, working on a new weapon design. Since returning from the first contact mission, she had been obsessed with finding a way to counter Volturi technology. The frequency modulation is the key, she muttered to herself as she adjusted some calculations. Their shields are strong against continuous energy weapons, but a pulse fired at exactly the right moment. Her computer beeped as the simulation completed. Kate's eyes widened as she saw the results. It works. Theoretically, at least. She picked up her phone to call Admiral Miller. Meanwhile, on Valorous Prime, Liam and Olivia attended a formal dinner with Volturi officials. The aliens ate food that smelled terrible to humans, but the Earth delegation pretended to enjoy it. "Your Earth will provide excellent resources for our empire," said Ambassador Zorn, a high-ranking Volturi. "We require 30% of your planet's minerals and food production." Olivia kept her face neutral despite her shock at the demand. "That would cause hardship for many of our people." Zorn waved his hand dismissively. "Your people will adapt or perish. It is the way of evolution." Liam noticed how the Volturi guards around the room were already looking tired, even though they had only been standing for a few hours. On Earth, soldiers could stand at attention for much longer. "We hear there have been some resistance issues with your other protected worlds," Liam said carefully. Ambassador Zorn laughed. "Minor annoyances. Some species refuse to accept their natural place in the order of things." "And what reports have you heard of human military preparation?" Olivia asked, trying to sound nervous. "Your pitiful attempts at defense." Zorn seemed amused. "Our scouts report you are building ships and weapons. It is cute, really. Even with 1,000 years, you could never match our power." Later that night, Liam and Olivia met in secret with representatives from the 3 enslaved alien races. The Solari were small with green skin, the Nex were tall with 4 arms, and the Teller had features like Earth's birds. "The Volturi have never been defeated," said Cato, the Teller leader. "But they have weaknesses they don't know about." "Tell us," Liam said. "Their homeworld has high gravity. It makes them strong, but they tire quickly. They cannot fight long battles," explained Mila of the Solari. "Their technology has flaws too," added Vren, the Nyx engineer. "Their shield systems need constant maintenance. Without it, they fail." As they talked, an alarm sounded throughout the city. The aliens looked worried. "What's happening?" Olivia asked. "A Volturi raid force is returning from your solar system," Cato said. "They attacked one of your outposts on the planet you call Mars." Liam's heart sank. Was it destroyed? Vren checked a hidden device. "No, but the Volturi commander is reporting something unusual. He says the humans fought for hours without tiring. Even in the thin Mars air, the Volturi soldiers couldn't keep up." Olivia and Liam exchanged looks. The Volturi had just discovered one of humanity's greatest strengths: endurance. "They think we're weak because we're not as strong as they are," Liam said. "But strength isn't everything." "The Volturi have never faced an enemy who could outlast them," Mila said. "This could change everything." 1 month later, the Volturi sent 10 warships to Mars. The Red Planet had become home to nearly 50,000 human colonists who lived in 3 large domes. The Volturi ships surrounded the largest dome, called New Hope. "Humans of Mars," the Volturi commander Grath announced over all communication channels. "Your planet is now under Volturi control. Do not resist." Inside the central control room of New Hope, colony leader Maria Hayes gathered her team. "It's time for Protocol Thermopylae," she said calmly. Her second-in-command nodded. "Make them think we're weak until we're ready to show our strength." Maria opened a channel to the Volturi ships. "Commander Grath, we are a peaceful colony. We surrender New Hope to your control." The Volturi landed their ships and soldiers marched into the dome. The humans stood aside, looking afraid. Commander Graff seemed pleased. "Smart humans," he said to his officers. "They know their place." But over the next week, strange things began to happen. The colony's power systems would fail in one section, then work perfectly when the Volturi technicians arrived to fix them. Food supplies would go missing. Volturi soldiers would get lost in tunnels that weren't on any map. "These humans are annoying pests," Graff complained. "They pretend to cooperate but create small problems everywhere." His second-in-command looked tired. "Our soldiers are exhausted chasing them through the tunnels. The humans seem to need less rest than we do." "Send for more troops," Graff ordered. "We will show them what happens to those who resist the Volturi." Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Miller met with her top military leaders in a bunker deep under the Atlantic Ocean. This facility didn't appear on any official records, making it invisible to Volturi scouts. "Project Achilles is ready," reported General Peter Lewis. "Our soldiers have been training to exploit the Volturi weakness. They can now fight continuously for up to 30 hours using special stimulants and oxygen enhancements." "Good," Admiral Miller said. "And the weapons?" Kate Murphy stepped forward. Her new role as Chief Weapons Engineer gave her access to all Earth's resources. "The pulse cannons are in full production. We've built factories inside asteroids and under the oceans where the Volturi can't see them." "What about the Mars situation?" Admiral Miller asked. "Exactly as planned," said Colonel John Rogers. "Maria Hayes is executing Protocol Thermopylae perfectly. The Volturi are sending more forces to Mars, thinking it's a simple rebel problem. Every soldier they send to Mars is one less we'll face here." Admiral Miller nodded. "And our fleet? We have 200 ships ready," General Lewis said. "They're small compared to Volturi vessels, but equipped with Kate's new weapons. They're hidden in the asteroid belt and on the dark side of the moon." Back on Mars, Commander Graff received a message from the Volturi High Council. It was displayed on a large screen for all his officers to see. "Your failure to control one human colony is disappointing," said High Commander Drax. "We have decided to initiate a limited conquest of Earth. Our main fleet will depart in 2 weeks. Your mission on Mars is to secure all resources and eliminate any resistance." "Yes, High Commander," Graff said, bowing his head. "The humans are weaker than we expected. Victory will be swift." After the call ended, Graff turned to his troops. "Double the patrols. Find the troublemakers." Hidden in a secret room nearby, Maria Hayes and her team listened through special devices. Maria smiled as she sent a coded message to Earth. "The fish has taken the bait. They're committing more forces to Mars and planning main Earth assault in 2 weeks. We're ready for Phase 2. In the Atlantic bunker, Admiral Miller received the message. "It's time," she said to her team. "Prepare the deception." Admiral Miller stood before the United Earth Coalition Council. The room was filled with leaders from all nations, their faces showing worry and fear. "The time has come for our next move," Admiral Miller said. "I propose we offer surrender to the Volturi." Gasps filled the room. A council member stood up. "Surrender? After all our preparations?" "A false surrender," Admiral Miller explained. "We will offer terms that include allowing Volturi inspection teams into our military bases." "They'll see our weapons," another council member said. "They'll see what we want them to see," Admiral Miller replied. "We've prepared special bases with outdated technology. Our real forces remain hidden." The council voted and approved the plan. The next day, Admiral Miller sent a message to the Volturi High Command. "Great Volturi Empire, the people of Earth wish to avoid bloodshed. We offer our surrender with terms for peaceful transition. We request the honor of your presence to formalize our agreement." On Valorous Prime, High Commander Drax received the message with a smile. "See how quickly they break," he told his officers. "Humans truly are weak creatures." 1 week later, Volturi inspection teams arrived on Earth. They were shown military bases with ships and weapons that looked impressive to civilians, but were actually outdated models or empty shells. "These are your best defenses?" asked the head inspector, trying not to laugh. "Yes," General Lewis said, looking embarrassed. "We thought they were quite advanced." The inspection teams reported back to High Commander Drax. "The humans pose no threat. Their technology is primitive. Their weapons would barely damage our smallest ships." Drax was pleased. "Prepare the fleet. I will personally go to Earth to accept their surrender." Meanwhile, Olivia Clark worked from a secret base on one of Jupiter's moons. Since returning from Valorous Prime, she had been in constant contact with the resistance movements of the Solari, Nyx, and Telar. "The Volteri are moving most of their fleet to Earth," Vren the Nyx told her through a secure channel. "Our people are ready to rise up when you give the signal." "Be patient," Olivia said. "The timing must be perfect." In another hidden facility, Security Chief Alan Grant led a special team of soldiers. They had captured a Volteri scout ship and were studying its systems. "The communication technology is their weak point," Alan told Admiral Miller during a secure call. "If we jam these specific frequencies, they can't coordinate their attacks." Dr. Foster worked day and night in his lab. "The sundown protocol is complete," he announced to his team. "When activated, it will create a pulse that disrupts Volteri shield harmonics for exactly 4.3 seconds. That's our window to strike." On Mars, Maria Hayes and her colonists continued their careful resistance. The Volteri were growing frustrated, sending more and more troops to control the situation. "Commander Grath, we've lost contact with Outpost 7, a Volteri officer reported. Again, Grath was furious. "Find out what's happening. These humans are nothing but pests." What Grath didn't know was that Maria's team had been studying how the Volteri fought. They recorded every tactic and sent the data to Earth. Back on Earth, Admiral Miller received word that High Commander Drax had set a date for the formal surrender ceremony, exactly 2 weeks from today. "Perfect," she said to her small circle of trusted officers. "Alert all hidden facilities. Inform our allies. The Volteri think they're coming to witness our surrender." General Lewis nodded. "Instead, they're walking into a trap." Admiral Miller looked at the star map, showing the approaching Volteri fleet. "They still think humans are weak. Let them keep thinking that for just a little longer." She sent a final coded message to all Earth forces. "Prepare for Operation Leonidas. When the signal comes, remember, they thought we were weak until it was too late." The day of surrender arrived. The sky over Geneva filled with Volteri ships. Their massive forms blocked the sun in many places, casting dark shadows across the city. People looked up with fear that was only partly pretend. Inside UEC headquarters, Admiral Miller wore her formal uniform. She stood calm and composed as High Commander Drax entered the Grand Hall with 20 armed guards. Drax was taller than the other Volteri, with deep scars on his face showing battles won. He looked down at the humans with cold eyes. "Admiral Miller," he said, his voice deep and proud. "Today marks the beginning of a new era for your species. Under Volteri guidance, you may one day rise above your primitive state." Admiral Miller bowed her head. "You honor us with your presence, High Commander. The surrender document is prepared." Screens around the world showed the ceremony. Billions watched as Miller and Drax approached a table where a single document waited. This was the moment that would decide Earth's future. On Mars, Maria Hayes and her team watched too. They stood ready next to captured Volteri weapons. Commander Grath had been called away to witness the surrender, leaving fewer troops behind. In hidden bases throughout the solar system, human soldiers sat in small, fast ships. They watched their screens and waited for the signal. On Jupiter's moon, Olivia Clark sent final messages to her alien allies. "Be ready," she told them. "It begins today." Back in Geneva, Drax picked up the pen to sign the document. Admiral Miller stood beside him, her hand moving slowly to her collar. "Before you sign," she said. "I have a message for my people." Drax nodded, thinking it was a final goodbye to freedom. Admiral Miller looked directly into the camera. "People of Earth, remember Leonidas." It was the signal. Instantly, several things happened at once. Dr. Foster activated the sundown protocol from his lab deep under the Rocky Mountains. A special signal spread across Earth and into space, targeting Volteri communication systems. On every Volteri ship, screens went blank. Commands stopped working. Shield systems flickered and failed. In Geneva, the floor beneath the Grand Hall opened. Hidden defense platforms rose up, surrounding the shocked Volteri delegation. High Commander Drax reached for his weapon, but found Admiral Miller pointing a small device at him. "Don't," she said simply. Around the world, the oceans churned as hidden launch platforms rose from the depths. From cloud cover, disguised satellites revealed themselves as weapon platforms. From behind the moon, 200 human ships appeared, moving fast toward the confused Volteri fleet. On Mars, Maria Hayes gave the order. Now, her colonists attacked the Volteri bases with their own weapons. The aliens, cut off from their command, couldn't coordinate their defense. Throughout the Volteri Empire, the enslaved races rose up at the same moment. The Solari sabotaged power systems. The Nyx took control of transport hubs. The Tailored freed prisoners from labor camps. In space, the human ships fired Kate Murphy's special weapons at the exact moment the Volteri shields were down. The carefully timed pulses tore through the alien vessels. Dozens of Volteri ships fell in the first minutes of battle. In Geneva, Admiral Miller looked at the shocked face of High Commander Drax. "How?" he asked, his voice no longer proud. "Your weapons, your technology. We let you see what we wanted you to see," Miller explained. "You thought us weak because we didn't show our strength." Outside, the battle raged in the sky. The smaller human ships darted between the massive Volteri vessels, firing precise shots at weak points they had carefully studied. "This is impossible," Drax said as he watched his mighty fleet falling to ships he had dismissed as primitive. Admiral Miller smiled. "No, High Commander. This was inevitable from the moment you underestimated us." For 3 days, the battle raged across the solar system. The Volteri fought hard, but they were not used to long fights. Human soldiers, trained through Project Achilles, kept fighting when their enemies grew tired. In space, Liam Carter commanded the upgraded Horizon Asterisk. His small ship moved quickly between the larger Volteri vessels. The Horizon Asterisk now carried weapons based on Volteri technology, but improved by human engineers. "Target their engine core," Liam ordered his crew. "Fire when their shields flicker." Amber Rodriguez, now his second in command, nodded, firing in 3, 2, 1. The pulse hit at the exact moment the enemy shields dropped. Another Volteri ship drifted, powerless. On Earth, Kate Murphy monitored her weapons systems from a command center. "The pulse timing is working perfectly," she told Admiral Miller. "Their shields can't adapt to our attack pattern." By the 4th day, it was clear who would win. Most of the Volteri fleet had been disabled or destroyed. On Mars, Commander Grath surrendered to Maria Hayes and her colonists. In Geneva, High Commander Drax sat in a secure room, watched by Alan Grant. Drax had not spoken since his capture. Admiral Miller entered the room. "High Commander, your fleet has fallen. Your ground forces have surrendered. We are receiving reports that the Solari, Nyx, and Teller have overthrown Volteri rule on their worlds." Drax looked up slowly. "You tricked us. You pretended to be weak." "We showed you what you expected to see," Miller replied. "Your own arrogance blinded you." Later that day, Miller met with the UEC Council. "The Volteri have asked for terms," she announced. "They are ready to surrender." A council member stood. "We should take their worlds, as they plan to take ours. Make them serve us." Admiral Miller shook her head. "No, that would make us no better than them. I propose a different path." 1 week later, representatives from Earth, the Valteri, and the formerly enslaved races gathered on a neutral space station. Liam, Olivia, and Admiral Miller represented humanity. "The terms are simple," Miller said. "The Valteri will withdraw from all occupied worlds. A new galactic council will be formed where all species have equal voice. No race shall rule over another." The Valteri representative, not Drax, but a civilian leader named Valia, signed the agreement. "We have much to learn," she said quietly. After the ceremony, Liam and Olivia visited Drax in his holding cell. He would stand trial for war crimes, but would not be executed. Humans had insisted on fair justice for all. "I still don't understand," Drax said when he saw them. "How did you defeat us? We were stronger in every way." "Not in every way," Liam said. "Throughout human history, we've learned one crucial lesson: appearing weak when you are strong. You thought our diplomacy was submission, our patience was fear, our study was admiration. You confused our reluctance to fight with inability to win. And now," Drax asked, "will humans rule the stars?" Olivia shook her head. "No, we will help build something better than the Valteri Empire, something where all species work together." 6 months later, the first meeting of the new Galactic Council took place on Earth. Representatives from 12 worlds, including the newly free Solari, Nyx, and Taylor, sat alongside humans and Valteri. Liam, now an ambassador, looked out at the gathering. "Today marks a new beginning," he said, "not just for humanity, but for all our worlds." In the years that followed, humans became known throughout the galaxy, not as conquerors like the Valteri had been, but as liberators and mediators. Their unique combination of endurance, adaptability, and strategic thinking made them valuable allies to many worlds. The story spread across the stars of how the Valteri thought humans were weak until it was too late. It became a lesson that judging others by your own standards could lead to dangerous mistakes, and it reminded everyone that true strength often hides behind a humble face.